This is my brand new 2025 Transition Regulator CX, and today's my very first ride on it. I've ridden a little over 10 bikes over the last 4 years on YouTube, and today I'm gonna try to come up with 5 things that I love about this bike and 5 things that I'm gonna change over the next few videos I make with the Regulator CX. If you wanna hear the main reasons why I picked the Transition Regulator over the Santa Cruz Vala, Bullet, the brand new Norco Sight VLT, and the brand new Gen 4 Specialized Levo, click on the video up here. But right now, let's get riding. Okay, first thing I love about this bike, the entire powertrain. I love how they went with the 600 watt-hour battery with the option to add the PowerMore range extender. This keeps the bike's weight down, and the less weight you have over the front tire, the more playful the bike feels. 600 watt-hours usually gets me anywhere between 2 to 3 hours of climbing. That's plenty for me. And if I want to go for a longer pedal, I can just add the 250 watt range extender. I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, oh, you should have got an 800 watt-hour battery bike. But to me, having a playful bike most of the time is more valuable than getting range some of the time. This Gen 5 motor is flawless. I've ridden a couple of bikes with the Gen 4 motor, and that thing rattled like crazy. This Gen 5 motor is completely quiet up and down the trails, no rattles. There's tons of power, it's super smooth, the app is great, and in July, Bosch is gonna release a firmware upgrade to take this thing from 85 Newton meters to 100 Newton meters. That's gonna be crazy. They're trying to keep up with the DJI motor and the Gen 4 Levo, and that should be a great addition to this bike. With that new update is also gonna be a new screen. That's why the cutout in the top tube is a little bigger. Just leaves room for later for that big screen. If you guys are interested in checking the bike out, there's a link in the description. And if you're local here in the Lower Mainland, go see Travis and Tyler at Velocity Cycles. They're in Langley, right off the highway, super easy to get to, and they promise to make it worth your while if you're after a new bike. Just tell them Ben from Top to Bottom sent you. Nice. Woo. Stay on course. Oh. Yeah. Now for some negatives. The first thing I'm going to change on this bike is the brakes. Now, this may not be a negative to a lot of you guys, but these Shimano 4-piston Dior brakes have a very on-off feel. They're very strong, they bite onto those rotors, and they stop you very, very fast, but there's very little modulation. I've been lucky enough to ride the TRP brakes for the last couple of years, and those have a great modulation at the very beginning of the stroke and a ton of power at the end. These Shimano brakes are very on-off, which to me is a little bit unsafe, especially when it gets wet. Locking up the front wheel just makes it go off track, and it puts your head out of the game. Now, I'm definitely going to be changing these out for something better, but what should I go with? The new TRP DHR Evo Pros? The Hayes Dominions? Or how about some Mavens? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So here's the second thing I love about this bike. I know it's just my first ride on it, but this has been the easiest bike to get along with. There's absolutely nothing that sticks out geometry-wise as out of place. Too long, too short, too tall, too low, nothing. This bike feels like it was a bike built by riders. Everything just seems to be exactly where it should be. The right reach, the right head tube angle, the right seat angle. It's got a long enough chainstay to keep the front wheel down when climbing some steep stuff. And it's short enough to keep the bike playful. Or that might be the small wheel in the back. I don't know. And for those of you wondering, I'm 5'9" and I'm riding a medium. To me, the sizing chart on Transition's website is bang on. Woo! The second thing I'm definitely going to be changing on this bike are the wheels. I know these would be perfect for 98% of riders out there, but you guys know me. I love to charge through rocks and roots. And denting one of these would be the end of the wheel and the end of your ride. So I'll most likely be replacing them with my favorites from Noble Wheels. The other thing that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence is the EXO casing up front. I don't know why they did this. Probably not to save weight because this is an e-bike after all. And on most of my bikes, I run at least a double down casing. And not only that, but Transition decided to go with the Max Terra compound front and back, which aren't the grippiest out there. So I'm going to be looking to keep it the same. Minion DHR2 in the back, Assegai in the front, but I'm going to be going with double down front and back, as well as a Max Grip compound. Oh, and I know it's a new bike and all, but I'll definitely be yanking these tubes out. The third thing I love about the Regulator is how freaking plush the suspension feels. It might have a lot to do with the 4-bar linkage or Transition's giddy up design, but man, this has got to be one of the smoothest bikes I've ever ridden. I even have 30 PSI in the tubes right now because I don't want to pop them. And still, buttery smooth. For budget suspension from RockShox, it's surprisingly good. The other thing I love about this bike is how Transition lets you overstroke and overfork the bike. I'll be able to experiment with a bunch of different shocks with 65mm strokes. This is going to give this 150mm bike 160mm of rear travel. And I can put a big burly Fox 38 up front with 170mm of travel. So far, I've been riding the bike in the high position with the flip chip, and it feels pretty good. You guys know me though, and I will be experimenting with the bike in the low position as well, just to see how it feels. But as is, for the first ride, this bike feels so good. And while we're talking about the suspension, the one thing I wish this RockShox combo had was more tunability. All you get with this base level stuff is air pressure to adjust your sag and rebound. That's it. If you're the type of rider that doesn't like to fiddle with suspension, just wants to set it and forget it, you're gonna love this bike because it feels awesome. I just wish there's a little bit more to dial it in even further. You know me, I love to tinker with things and see how close to perfect I can get a bike feeling. And without those settings, I can't really do that. I've got some brand new Fox suspension to try out, and I'm stoked this bike is gonna let me experiment with it. The fourth thing that I love about this bike are the contact points. This bike just feels like it was put together by riders, not a big corporation trying to sell product. Transition's a small company run and operated by riders, and it's obvious. Most of the time with bikes, you get cheap contact points. No name brand bars and stem, they're long, they're short, they're flat, they suck. And you end up replacing them 98% of the time. I've never said this before, but this stock bike, I don't have to change anything. The things that I'm gonna change are maybe to fancy the bike up or personalize it. But as is, short 35mm stem, really nice race face bars with a 35mm rise, a really comfortable SDG Bel Air saddle, and obviously the bike doesn't come with pedals, so I put my race face flat pedals on. So other than being a little bit heavy, this bike is dialed for contact points. Not only that, but this bike gives you a 170mm dropper in a size medium. Most size mediums I've ridden in the past only had a 150mm dropper. And that's never been able to get me the right reach when the seat post is slammed all the way down. But this 170mm dropper, I've got it slammed and it's perfect. Whoa. Now, yes, it could be a little bit lighter. Aluminum wheels, a steel Dior cassette, and aluminum components throughout the cockpit. So there's room for improvement. I'll be swapping out a few things in the drivetrain and putting on some carbon bits wherever I can. This is going to lighten the bike up a little bit and give me optimal performance. The fifth and final thing I love about this bike are the cranks. Take a look at these things. These are the shortest cranks I've ever seen on any bike. They're only 150 mils long. And for an e-bike, that makes a ton of sense. You don't need a lot of torque to climb. You have a battery and a motor helping you along. So nice short cranks keep your pedals away from rock strikes and roots. And as a shorter rider, that makes a lot of sense for me too. I don't have to be doing the splits over 170 mil cranks. I can have my feet nice and close together and my hips straight forward. This gives me a super strong, straightforward position on the bike and a ton of room to move over the bike. Whoa! Woo! Oh! Woo! Now, obviously, this is a pretty pricey bike, and even this Dior spec is close to $10,000 Canadian. The prices for new bikes is getting out of hand, but my pals at Velocity promise to make it worth your while to come and see them if you're after a new whip. Just tell them Ben from Top to Bottom sent you, and they're definitely going to help you out. It's a big investment, I know, but man, new bikes are so good now. If you want to see the main reason why I picked the Transition Regulator CX over all the amazing options we have now, click on this video right here. I'll see you there.